Absolutely not. My father's fist came down hard on his mahogany desk, making the family photos rattle. No daughter of mine works in tech. The Anderson name means something in this city. I stood my ground, clutching my MIT acceptance letter. At 18, I'd already mapped out my future: computer science, artificial intelligence, the cutting edge of technology. But in the Anderson family, tradition wasn't just valued, it was mandatory. Dad, please. This is what I want to do. What I'm good at dash. What you're good at. He scoffed, gesturing to the wall of portraits behind him, 3 generations of Anderson lawyers. You're good at following in your family's footsteps. Law school, joining the firm, maintaining our legacy. That's what you're good at. My mother sat quietly in the corner, twisting her pearls, her nervous tell. Olivia, darling, your father's right. Tech is so unstable. Not suitable for someone of your background. My background. I laughed bitterly. You mean my trust fund? The one you're threatening to cut off if I don't go to law school. Don't be dramatic, my father snapped. We're not threatening anything. We're guiding you toward your proper path. The path every Anderson has taken. Except it wasn't every Anderson. My older brother Marcus had escaped to Europe years ago, choosing art over law. They disowned him so completely his name was never mentioned at family gatherings. Now it was my turn to choose. I'm going to MIT, I said quietly. With or without your support. My father's face turned an alarming shade of red. Then you're no daughter of mine. Get out. And don't come back until you've come to your senses. I walked out of his office that day with nothing but my acceptance letter and the coding skills I'd taught myself in secret. My trust fund, my car, my family name, all stripped away because I dared to dream differently. That night I sat in my tiny rented room, the cheapest I could find near campus, and made myself a promise. I wouldn't just succeed, I would redefine what success looked like. The first year was brutal. I worked 3 jobs between classes, coding websites for local businesses, tutoring rich kids in math, waiting tables at a campus cafe. Every spare moment went into studying or building my skills. My roommate Sarah Kim became my lifeline. A brilliant programmer herself, she understood my vision for what technology could become. They think tech is just gadgets and games, she said one night as we pulled another coding all-nighter. They don't see that we're building the future. We started small, developing apps and software solutions for startups. Our breakthrough came during junior year. An AI algorithm that could predict market trends with unprecedented accuracy. This could revolutionize financial technology, our professor said, staring at our test results. Have you considered commercializing it? We had. Sarah and I spent our senior year building what would become Nexus Technologies. Our dorm room became our first office, our student loans our seed funding. My family, meanwhile, continued their campaign of silence. Christmas cards returned unopened. Birthday calls unanswered. Even my mother's occasional secret messages stopped after my father discovered them. The Andersons don't associate with computer people, he'd apparently declared at a country club dinner. It's beneath us. What he didn't know was that those computer people were about to change everything. Nexus Technologies launched 2 weeks after graduation. Our AI trading platform caught the attention of several venture capital firms, but we were selective about investment. We wanted partners who saw our vision, not just dollar signs. Your algorithm could transform how Wall Street operates, one investor said during a pitch meeting. But why hasn't anyone done this before? Because they were too busy following tradition to see the possibilities, I replied, thinking of my father's mahogany desk and wall of portraits. The first year was a blur of pitch meetings, coding sprints, and endless cups of coffee. Sarah and I lived on ramen noodles and determination, pouring everything back into the company. Then came our first major client, a mid-sized investment firm willing to take a chance on our platform. Within 3 months, their trading profits increased by 200%. Word spread. More clients signed on. Nexus Technologies grew from 2 founders in a cramped office to 50 employees in a downtown workspace. I kept tabs on my family through industry news. Anderson and Associates, my father's law firm, was struggling to adapt to the digital age. Their refusal to modernize was costing them clients and talent. Traditional law firms are dinosaurs, I overheard a client say. They don't understand that technology is changing everything. 3 years after being disowned, Nexus Technologies had become a major player in financial technology. Our AI platform was handling billions in trades daily. Sarah and I moved the company to a sleek office tower with a view of the city. I still lived simply, drove a modest car, kept my success quiet. Not out of shame, but because I was building something bigger than wealth. I was proving that innovation beats tradition every time. The tech press started noticing. Nexus Technologies, the future of financial AI, read one headline. Meet the women revolutionizing Wall Street, said another. I kept copies but never sent them to my parents. Then came the acquisition offers. Tech giants and financial institutions waving astronomical numbers, trying to buy what we'd built. Think about it, one CEO urged. $8 billion. You'd never have to work again. But Sarah and I had bigger plans. We didn't want to sell our vision. We wanted to expand it. Instead of selling, we went public. The IPO was the largest tech offering of the year. Financial news channels covered it non-stop, praising the revolutionary AI platform changing the face of finance. And there, in the middle of it all, was my face. The girl who wasn't supposed to work in tech, who was supposed to follow the Anderson path to law school, was now worth more than the entire family fortune. My assistant, Jennifer, came into my office the morning after the IPO. Ms. Anderson? Your father's firm called. They're interested in discussing potential synergies between our companies. I looked out my office window at the city skyline, remembering that day in his office 5 years ago. What did you tell them? That you're not available for family matters. She smiled. Just like you instructed. I nodded, turning back to my work. The Anderson name might mean something in this city, but it no longer meant anything to me. I had built my own legacy, one line of code at a time. The Forbes article changed everything. The new face of finance. How Olivia Anderson built a $4.8 billion empire, splashed across newsstands nationwide. The story detailed not just Nexus Technologies' success, but my personal journey, including being disowned for choosing tech over law. My phone started ringing within hours of publication. Ms. Anderson? Jennifer appeared in my office doorway. Your mother's on line 1. Your father's on line 2. Your Aunt Margaret is in the lobby. And your cousin Stephen just emailed about an urgent investment opportunity. I glanced at the magazine on my desk, my face staring back from the cover. What are we telling them? The usual, you're not available for family matters. She paused. Though your mother's called 6 times already. I turned to look out my office window, remembering all the birthdays and holidays that had passed in silence. 5 years of complete rejection, and now suddenly they wanted to talk. Send me the emails, I said. I want to see what they're saying. The messages poured in, each more desperate than the last. From my father, Olivia, we need to discuss this situation as a family. Call me immediately. From my mother, darling, we've missed you so much. We always knew you'd do wonderful things. From various cousins and aunts who'd supported my disownment. Remember your favorite cousin? We should catch up. The most interesting was from my brother Marcus, the other family exile. Saw the Forbes piece. Guess we're both disappointments who made good. Coffee sometime. I saved his email. The others I archived in a folder labeled Family Matters Ignored. Then came the financial reports. Anderson and Associates was in worse shape than I'd realized. Their reluctance to adapt to digital transformation had cost them most of their major clients. My father's firm was hemorrhaging money and talent. Your father's firm made another attempt to schedule a meeting, Jennifer reported the next morning. This time through their board of directors. They're calling it a technology consultation. I laughed. 5 years ago, technology was beneath the Anderson name. Now they're desperate for it. There's more, she added. They've lost their biggest client to a firm using our AI platform for legal analytics. Irony had a wonderful sense of timing. The situation came to a head at the annual Tech Innovation Summit. I was scheduled to deliver the keynote address about the future of financial technology. Unknown to me, my parents had secured tickets. I walked onto the stage in front of 2,000 people, my success evident in every step. Gone were the second-hand clothes and borrowed textbooks. I'd earned my place here. The future of finance isn't about tradition, I began, my voice carrying across the hushed auditorium. It's about innovation. About seeing possibilities where others see barriers. In the third row I spotted them. My parents, dressed in their country club finest, watching their disowned daughter command the attention of the entire tech industry. 5 years ago I was told to stick to traditional paths, to follow established routes to success. I smiled, looking directly at them. Instead, I chose to create my own path, to build something new. After the speech, they tried to approach me. Security, well briefed on family matters, smoothly intercepted them. Ms. Anderson isn't available for unscheduled meetings, the head of security explained politely but firmly. We're her parents, my father blustered, his face reddening just like it had that day in his office. Sir, we're aware. She's still not available. Later that evening, as I reviewed acquisition proposals in my penthouse office, Jennifer buzzed in. Your father's firm just announced layoffs. 40% of their staff. The press is calling it the end of an era. I set down my tablet, thinking about that wall of portraits in his office. All those generations of tradition crumbling because they couldn't adapt. Ms. Anderson? Jennifer appeared again. Your mother's in the lobby. She's refusing to leave without seeing you. I considered for a long moment. Send her up. My mother walked into my office like a stranger, her confident society manner stripped away by circumstance. She stared at the view, at the awards lining my walls, at all the evidence of success they'd never wanted to believe possible. Olivia, she whispered. This is extraordinary. Thank you. I didn't offer her a seat. Why are you here? We've missed you, darling. All these years wondering how you were. Wondering. I interrupted. You knew exactly where I was. You chose not to be part of it. Your father was wrong, she said quickly. We were all wrong. We see that now. Now that I'm worth billions? Now that my company is revolutionizing the industry? How convenient. She flinched. It's not about the money. Really. I pulled up my emails, projecting them onto the wall screen. Because every message I've received from the family mentions investment opportunities, business partnerships, or financial advice. Not one apology. Not one admission of how deeply you hurt me. We were trying to protect you, she protested weakly. No, you were trying to control me. To force me into your narrow vision of success. I stood up, walking to the window. And now that my vision of success has surpassed anything you could imagine, you want to be part of it. We're still your family. I turned back to her. Family supports each other. Family believes in each other. Family doesn't disown their children for daring to dream differently. What can we do? She asked quietly. How can we make this right? You can't. I sat back down, signaling the conversation was ending. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. Not even with billions of dollars. Your father's firm, she began, is failing because it refused to evolve. Just like your relationship with me failed because you refused to accept who I really was. I pressed the intercom. Jennifer, please show Mrs. Anderson out. Olivia, please. Oh, and Mom. I called as she reached the door. Tell Dad that Nexus Technologies isn't interested in consulting with dinosaurs. We're too busy building the future. The next day I received an unexpected visitor. Marcus, my artist brother, the family's first disappointment, stood in my lobby. Nice place, sis, he grinned. Better than that dorm room you started in. I hugged him tight, realizing how much I'd missed having family who understood. Over coffee in my office he filled me in on his life. He'd built a successful career as an artist in Paris, far from the Anderson family's expectations. Saw Mom and Dad at my last gallery opening, he said. They tried to take credit for my success, claimed they'd always supported my artistic pursuits. I laughed. Let me guess, right after the New York Times called you a modern master? Exactly. He grew serious. Don't let them do that to you, Liv. Don't let them rewrite history now that you're successful. I won't, I promised. But I might be interested in supporting a certain artist's next exhibition. We spent the afternoon catching up, two Anderson disappointments who'd built their own paths to success. The next week, Forbes published a follow-up article, The Anderson Innovation, How Two Siblings Rejected Tradition and Reformed Their Industries. The photo showed Marcus and me in my office, both smiling, both successful, both free from the weight of family expectations. My parents' reactions were predictable. More calls, more emails, more attempts to insert themselves into our success stories. But they'd lost their power over us. We'd proven that the Anderson name wasn't about following tradition, it was about having the courage to break it. I kept my mother's pearls, the ones she'd nervously twisted that day in my father's office. They sit in a display case in my office, next to the MIT acceptance letter that changed everything. Below them, a simple plaque reads, "Success isn't inherited, it's innovated." The Anderson and Associates building was sold the following year, unable to survive in a world they'd refused to understand. I bought it through a subsidiary, planning to turn it into a tech incubator for other dreamers who dared to think differently. The first thing I removed was that wall of portraits in my father's old office. In their place, I hung a single photograph, the Forbes cover showing Marcus and me, proof that sometimes the greatest success comes from disappointing the right people. My assistant still answers every family call the same way: "Ms. Anderson isn't available for family matters." But now it's not because they disowned me. It's because I chose to disown their vision of success and build my own. And that's worth more than any inheritance they could have offered.